everyone, Zara in the house, and today we're back with another episode to figure out what's new in World of Vision, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. So, we'll notice a couple of new things. The first one is the raids on the left, and a new tag in the missions icon. So, what is new? Let's find out together. What has changed is the way we'll be getting energy this time around for the raid. Usually we were able to claim 500 or whatever energy from the regular missions, but now this has been moved to the event section. So in a situation where you're wondering where your energy is, this is where you can find it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's have a look at what the new summons are for this week. Seems like we have the standard banner for Phoenix, and in this banner we will also be getting the MR card, which is featured, and that is a mighty obstacle. Where we can see Nasha, Yerma, and Etre being beat up, maybe by Lilith. Okay, so they are rate up, and you have a 0.8 chance of getting Phoenix on the standard banner, and 1.5 for a mighty obstacle. What I want to have a look, though, is the stats for the new vision cards. So, Phoenix, at max level, he'll get fire unit magic attack resistance up, as well as dexterity up, and if you level the card to 99, you'll get pierce attack resistance up. So I think those are really good specs, especially, actually, you get piercing attack up, so this sounds like an OLD card straight away. And for any fire unit that gets this card assigned to them, they'll get max HP up 15%, and with a global exclusive buff, which is attack 30%. So this card sounds quite overwhelmingly powerful when assigned to a fire unit. I can see this being very good on Seymour, Welde, and if you're doing something crazy like me, which is an attack-focused King Mont on my main account. So I am giving him a ninja sub, and I'm trying to figure out whether he can evade and generate hate and then deal significant damage. So I'm playing around with him, let's say. However, on the free account, I'll just build him like a standard tank. And yeah, we also wanted to have a look at the MR card, which from the looks of it, in hindsight, this is tailored for Ice Unit, and it says specifically for Nasha. Even though here it says Ice Unit, we can see that Nasha obviously is featured, and the party abilities are Ice Unit Wind Attack Resistance up, Ice Unit Attack Resistance up, and Ice Unit Wind Eater up. This sounds like a 2B killer if you ask me, and if it's gonna be given to obviously Ice Unit, they're gonna destroy her in with no sweat. And why did I say that this is a card tailored for Nasha? Well, we're gonna have a look at Nasha very shortly, but her EX skill, I'll just mention it now, does provide her with 25% unit attack resistance up. So this gives her an additional 8% to that, which makes her quite resistant to attacks that would target only her. So do keep that in mind for later in the video. Now, going forward with the banners for this week, we can see that we also have the 5-step summon for Phoenix. And I believe that the new card will also be featured in this one. I might be wrong. That's what we're confirming. So, no step. Okay, so Phoenix is also boosted here, which is extremely good. And what about the Nasha card? Okay, the Nasha card is not boosted here, so only Phoenix gets a higher chance of being dropped. And I will pull on this banner a bit later. I just want to make sure that I have 10,000 visure, and I'll do a small pull video a bit later in the week. There is also some new banners which I would not recommend pulling on, specifically these two. This will increase the chances of getting shards for Nasha and Yerma, and also Odin, but I would not do that. I mean, that looks pretty steep in regards of cost, and I would perhaps invest it in something else, either save it or invest it for something better, because you know, if you if you're spending that much for Nasha, you might as well just buy her shards outright, you know. But that's just me. And similarly, I would stay away from this. This sounds like a massive Visor grab. You're gonna drain your Visor for these rated up units. They're not limited. Yeah, I think this is just noise. I think there is also paid banners this time around. Let's have a look. Is there any new paid banner? Okay, not that I can see. So that is that. Okay. Let us move to the Mog Shop, and then we'll go to the shop. Now, the Mog Shop does get a couple of things added, which, first of all, is the raid shop. So Brigandine will provide AoE resistance when +5, and I think that's extremely good for King Mont. In hindsight, Galmia Coat is not something that I'm extremely fond of, and it is the same cost as Brigandine. We have had this featured in a previous event, if I'm not wrong. So this will be good if you just need to +5 it, but I wouldn't use your raid medals to specifically chase this. I think the Brigandine is the highlight of this raid. And similarly, you know, Soul of Samaza, if you need to finish it off, you get the chance to do it here. I will personally be chasing Brigandine. I'll try to get 2 of them, one for King Mont and one for Nasha. Otherwise, I'll get one for Nasha in my main account and one for King Mont here in the free account. And we have the usual suspects that you can try and farm at your leisure. And I believe that in the spring shop, we have had the addition of Phoenix Shards, as well as, I can't remember the name of that MR card for the love of whoever is a superior being. But I'm fairly sure that that card is here as well, a Mighty Obstacle. There you go. So if you need to max the vision card as soon as possible, you get the chance to do it here with the spring medals. Okay, we can move to the shop now. And what do we have in the shop this time around? In terms of special shop, okay, it doesn't seem like there's any new additions. It's just the usual suspects. I believe there's a couple of new things in the 8 million downloads. This is a completely new shop. Okay, I would stay away from this unless you're a PvP aficionado. Actually, I might lie. This could be interesting if you do want to spend a paid Visor. It wouldn't be my first go-to pack out of these ones. This one, I will stay completely away from it. You can get this from the Mog Shop, no problem, you know. And you also can farm the individual job memories as well. So, I mean, 8 paid Visor is quite steep in my opinion. However, I will actually go for this because 400 Orb of Envisionment are worth 10 UR spheres, and you also get the MR growth eggs, which will expedite the leveling up of your vision cards. So this is something I will strongly consider. Now, Brigandine +3 shield and Galmia Code +3 barrier. I feel a bit conflicted about this. I would go for this only if I am committed about getting 2 Brigandine. This will pretty much cut your work for the second one in half. And with the Galmia Code, as I said, we had it before. I can understand why it's 1000 paid Visor, but I will stay away from this personally. Everything else in here, I will stay away from. And in the spring shot, now we have part 4. And I really don't like the price of these packs, but if I had to choose, I would go for this one, especially if you're really keen to +3 Odin and Phoenix as soon as possible. Yeah, let's have a look. Yes, this is pretty good if you want to level up Odin, because he only gets 0.85 of all the experience that you would invest in him with the Magicite. So yeah, I would I would do this for Odin if you really want to level him up and you're short in Mazasai. Everything else, that is Visual, I would skip. And we also have the feature shop for Phoenix and Mighty Obstacle. This is really good if you want to try and expedite the growth of these cards. Although, I mean, we also have Spring Metals. You can get this from the Spring Metals. So if you're extremely desperate, you have a way of maxing this card by using this method. Lastly, we do have a shop for the featured EX units that are not limited. In this case, it's Yerma and Nasha. And we also have, if you want to finish up Odin, you get the chance to do that here. Let us move to what's new in the Farplane. First things first, we'll see that we have the raid for this week, and that is Glacial. I will post my own composition later in the week because I want to play around with a couple of teams on my main account, so I'll see if I can use something that most players can use and solo the event. And similarly, if we go back, we have new beast ends as well. If you've been paying attention, you might be aware that we have Phoenix and Odin level 3. So now you can get the materials to level up Odin to 3 stars. And similarly, if you scroll all the way at the bottom, you'll find that you can fight Phoenix not one, but twice. So there's that. In regards to normal events, I believe there's a rerun of the Admirable Prince, where you can actually obtain Etre and her shards. So I think I'll do this on the free account because not only get Etre, which I think is a pretty cool, pretty nicely designed unit, but I also will get more Visual that will help me get Phoenix. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Pun intended. And upon completing these events, you'll unlock more things, more events such as the brutal quests for Etre, and also the ability to build these weapons. A screenshot coming up here. So once I finish these events, I'll be able to do that on this free account. Now, this wasn't very well advertised in my opinion, but we do have the interlude for the story. So I'm about to finish the story on the free-to-play account. However, we do have the interlude, and this should be a nice transition from the end of part 1 into going to part 2. I haven't played this yet, and I'm keen to see how things will actually develop, and the big drama that is going to happen in part 2. So I would imagine that they'll do a good job in developing that storyline. Lastly, let us go and examine the new EX for the units that we're getting this week. So the first one will be Nasha. Nasha I really like. She had a really good kit when she first came out. Her AI was a bit weird, so I completely disregarded her white mage sub and went with a paladin that was aggroing units, and when she aggroed them, she would jump and kill them. At the time, there was no hate system, so that worked extremely well. But when they introduced the hate system, that strategy went haywires and I couldn't apply anymore. Nonetheless, now that we have her EX, I am planning to give her a white mage sub with Shell and Protect. I'm planning to give her Brigandine, which will increase her AoE damage resistance. And I am planning to give her MR card if I pull it. And her EX skill will give her even further unit attack resistance up, so she will be an extremely good tank. Let us examine her kit nonetheless. Her Paladin Guard will be upgraded to Paladin's Aura, and that will increase the chances of proccing. This is a counter move. So instead of maximum 20%, now Nasha will have 20%, 30% to counter physical damage, which is pretty good. Her second skill is Saintly Wall, will be upgraded to Guardian Wall. And instead of reducing physical damage, she will reduce all sort of damage, which is amazing. That includes magic attacks and also non-type attacks like Katon, Anton, and those ninja skills, and hacking from 9S. So she'll be a good tank against those type of skills as well. So do not sleep on this girl. I'm telling you, she's a dark horse. She might rival King Mont if you don't have Agrias and need to build another tank. And she also does get Divine Veil, which is her EX skill, where she'll increase her single unit attack resistance, like I mentioned before, and she'll mitigate 25% of the damage she receives. And on top of that, she'll also nullify poison, stop, and immobilize. This is going to be really good for this raid, because I'm aware that Glacial can inflict stop. So if you can build Nasha to a level 120, keeping account that she's boosted as well for this event, you'll have another way of mitigating stop status. So do not sleep on this girl, I'm telling you. Secondly, we get Yerma. Let's get Yerma. Yerma becomes a bit more of a tank buster. Let's have a look at her kit. So she'll upgrade her knee breaker into unfailing knee breaker, and pretty much this attack becomes 100% hit chance. So I believe this will be extremely good for Ketone. This will be, I think she's the anti-Ketone, literally. We all know that Ketone is an evade earth unit, and if you put her against Yerma, I don't think she'll have a chance to survive. But then again, how many people have Yerma and are ready to put her in battle? I think Yerma will be included in a very specific set of teams where you're specifically going for Ketone. And this could happen a bit later in the future, where Ketone might become a bit more relevant once her EX is released. Nonetheless, let's keep going on with Yerma. Yerma's full body blow will become conquering blow, and the only upgrade is that now you no longer have the casting time for this attack, which is really good, because it does deal 270% damages. That's nothing to scoff at. And her EX attack will be Reaving Axe, which will break barriers and increase defense penetration by 50%. So this sounds like a good anti-tank if you ask me, like I was mentioning before. So K-Mount, no issue. EX Mount, no issue, and so on. So another dark horse, but I'm not so hot on her as I am on Nasha, because there's far more wind units than earth units in the current meta. Now let's talk about Etre. I do not have her, so I'll put a nice picture of her here. And what does she get? So she gets an upgraded passive. So her HP up will become Honed Constitution. It'll still provide the same amount of extra HP, but this time you'll be able to resist slash and piercing attacks, which is pretty good. Those are one of the most relevant type of attacks if we do not count magic attacks. Secondly, she'll finally get an upgrade to her Doom inducing skill. So instead of having Doom proc in 4 turns, it'll proc in 3. I think this is extremely good for tower and also CM battles, class match battles. I think she'll be really good in one-shotting enemies this way. So there's a chance that she might die, obviously, but if she can inflict this on the enemy unit, and you have a tank that can absorb hits, I think you're golden. That would be a pretty cool strategy if you ask me. And her EX skill, Fist of Frenzy, where on top of dealing 170% damage, base damage, you'll also be able to inflict Confusion and Berserk, and these still are very good PvE and CM battle attacks, because in a situation where you're against a person playing manual, their unit will become uncontrollable, and in a way or another, whether through Confusion or Berserk or both. So that's a win-win for you. 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, I believe that is all I wanted to talk about today. Pretty quick video. We tried to condense the information as much as possible while still trying to make sense. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what we're doing here, like, and subscribe and drop us a comment. Let us know what your plan is for this week. We'll try to respond to everything as promptly as possible. And do keep an account that I'll be posting a video later this week in regards to my strategy on how to tackle Phoenix with a solo team. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. You guys take care. Have a good one.